In this presentation, I will discuss the problem-solving approach, or PSA, and how the organized process of PSA guided me through completing a technical instruction manual. The problem-solving approach, or PSA, is an organizational method for producing effective communications. PSA is segmented into 5 components. PSA is not limited to academic writing. Certainly, PSA will benefit your writing assignments in college, but will also aid your communications in a professional setting. The 5 components of problem-solving approach are plan, research, draft, review, and distribute. I will discuss these individual components on the following slides, along with the benefits of applying PSA to your writing. The next several slides will clarify how I use PSA to create a technical instruction manual to build a Lego airplane. The planning phase of PSA is often overlooked or condensed by many writers, but it is very important to effective communication. The planning component establishes the goals for the project, the intended outcomes of the communication. The planning phase establishes your intended audience and what medium is needed. Does the communication require the document to be circulated by the company intranet, by email, as a formal printed report? These key components are all determined in the planning phase. I use the planning phase to create a plan to describe the construction of a Lego airplane. How best to explain the construction, what type of pictures to include in the instructions. The next stage of PSA is the research phase. During this phase, all the information is gathered. Research is conducted. If questionnaires are required to be distributed and collected, it is done at this point in the project. Once all the research has been collected and gathered, the information is organized so it may be easily located. Also, if the research data is organized, you are less likely to forget to include any necessary information. During this stage, I researched the individual Lego pieces used and the order of assembly. Also, I organized the information into a logical order. The next part of PSA is to put all your information and research together to form a rough draft. During the draft phase, the form of communication and the medium are finalized. Any visual items, such as pictures and graphs, should be added to the rough draft. For the instructions on how to build a Lego airplane, I determined that the final medium would be a printed instruction manual. I could have also chose to have the instructions viewable as a web page or downloadable as a PDF file. The PSA method will help you sort out the medium most appropriate to your audience. The review component of PSA is used for quality control. During the review phase, usability of the document is tested along with feedback from peer review. Peer review is a very necessary step. It is during peer review that you can gather constructive and helpful criticism to improve your overall quality of the document. You might think that your document is error-free and reads well, but your audience will most likely be many different people. At the very least, you should seek the opinion of a couple of your trusted colleagues to ensure that your communication accomplishes the project goals. I sought the advice of a trusted reviewer to make sure that the airplane instructions met my goals of readability and clarity. The final component of PSA is the distribution phase. The distribution phase is not just limited to circulating the completed communication. The communication should go through a verification process to ensure that it was successfully distributed to all of its intended audience, and its outcomes should be measured and evaluated to verify that a subsequent communication is not needed. I submitted my final draft of the airplane instructions by Dropbox and confirmed that the submission was accepted. Why should you use PSA process when writing feature communications? The answer is that effective communications provide value to their audience and credibility to their authors. If the original communication does not accomplish its original goals or does not communicate the required information to the appropriate audience, then further communication is required. The problem-solving approach has helped me generate more effective communications. PSA has helped me write to the intended audience to suit their needs. The most important improvement in my writing came with the organization that PSA provides and the peer review that PSA requires. Before I studied PSA, my writing rarely benefited from peer review or revision. Peer review and revision consisted of myself and happened as I wrote the sentence and felt it wasn't quite up to par. Since using PSA, my writing has benefited from peer review and multiple drafts. I feel that PSA helped me produce more effective communications. What lessons have I learned from PSA? I've learned that my audience is more than the person grading my assignment, and that may not be most beneficial for them to receive my communication in the form I distributed it. It is what's most effective for the audience that matters. PSA helps determine that. Revisions made by myself as I am typing are not really revisions. Revisions are made with the input of peer criticism. Peer criticism will always help improve your writing as long as you choose the right reviewers.